another egg story, another egg-related story. This is a video that went viral on, I think I saw it first on Instagram, and then it would I think it even made it into the news because it was, well, it was just an example of instant karma, and it does involve eggs. Check this video out. So, there you go. So you see these girls, it looks like they threw eggs and then some kind of water or something. Like, it's a little hard to see at first. Let me zoom in on that spot, see if we can get a little better. Damn! That looked like that guy throwing a fucking drink all over my car the other day, that son of a bitch. Anyway, so these girls, you'll see, we'll start it back up here again. They throw all the stuff.
Damn!
I'm assuming that's an ex-boyfriend's car.
They in the blue truck.
Then they try to bolt, they hop in the car, take off. Now, when I first turned this on, when I first watched this, you see how the door is open? I was expecting to see somebody come flying out of that door. I was totally expecting that I was going to witness some lady come falling out of that door. But keep watching.
Oh, here they get outside. Damn! They just got smacked. They on the way. Oh, they going to chase them. No, somebody, oh, okay, they about to bang, we gotta go down there.
So I have not seen if there's a continuation of that video where they were about to bang, but that was fucking great. Instant karma is what they're calling that on the internet right now. You throw some eggs at somebody's car, at somebody's house, and then you try to take off and immediately crash a car. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Let's see here. I'm trying to think about, God, I did so much egging when I was a kid, man. There was this one house in particular that really got my wrath for a really great reason. I don't think I've ever even told this story before, to tell you the truth. Now I'm thinking about it. So we moved in let's see, the end of 7th grade, going into 8th grade, we moved into this new house in where I'm from, Chagrin Falls, America's hometown, greatest little town in the world. We thought. Calm. You know, we moved out of the suburb I was living in at the time. It was not a bad neighborhood or anything, but kind of a little bit trashy, a little white trashy. And it got, I was getting into trouble all the time. And we always wanted to move back to Chagrin, so we ended up moving back to Chagrin. And when we moved back to Chagrin, we got this nice house. We had these nice neighbors behind us and around us. And my parents are always having friends. They were friendly with our neighbors back in the suburb we moved out of, Aurora. And not all of Aurora is white trash. Just this little section I lived in was kind of rough, kind of white trashy. Anyway, so we move into this house. My parents are divorced, so I'm living with my dad and my stepmom. I go stay at my mom's house for the weekend. I get home on Sunday like I normally would. And like I mentioned, my parents have friends from Aurora, and that friend had come to visit. They were there just to, I think, I don't know if her husband was there or just her, but either way, but her friend, and another crazy story for another day, but that woman friend who ended up coming over to my parents' house, her husband later killed himself, and she found him. Crazy story. Anyway, so I get home. This woman is visiting our house, and I'm just kind of sitting in the living room talking to everybody, and then she makes some sort of joke about how my dad was going to beat up the neighbor again. And I'm like, well, I think my dad beat up a neighbor at our old house because, you know, the neighbor's kid chased my stepmom around with a hatchet or some crazy story like that. I don't remember. I was really young when that happened. I don't remember all that story, but I know my dad ended up beating up a neighbor in Aurora. So I was a little confused. I was like, well, he hasn't beaten anybody up here. We just moved here. What happened? And they go, well, here's what happened. And this is a little bit of a long, drawn-out story, so stick with me. Weeks before the weekend I went to my mother's house, this Sunday, weeks before this Sunday, there was a ruckus in our backyard. And I ran out to go see what was going on. And a cat had gotten into our backyard. And now we had a yellow lab and a big shepherd mix at the time. So we had two big dogs and they both hated cats. We were not a cat house at all. I am now. Growing up, my dad said, I only like cats barbecued. Ha ha ha. Anyway, so that'll tell you how much we didn't like cats. We had two big dogs. Anyway, cat ran into the backyard. It ran up into the tree. We called animal control. We tried to get them to come get the cat out. The cat wouldn't come down. Animal control wouldn't go up in the tree. Obviously, the fire truck didn't come. There's no Superman to save the cat. So the animal person just said, the cat will come down when it feels like it. So they leave. Everybody leaves. I'm sitting in my living room later on that night after that, and there's like windows are open next to me, and all of a sudden I hear like a fluffering sound, and then I hear like a big cat like yelping, like screaming sound, and then a little bit more commotion, and it's just gone, just stops. And I go, oh my God, my dog just got the cat. And I ran out into the backyard. We had like floodlights, so you could see the whole backyard. It was all lit up, and at that time we had no phones to be looking around, thankfully. So we had floodlights everywhere. I look all around the fence, look all around. There's no dead cat. So I go, oh my God, the cat got out. It got down, and it, just the dogs chased it, and it screamed and ran and jumped over the thing. So that was the end of the cat situation. And my dad was out of town when that happened. He had no idea about that story at all. We didn't even tell him about the cat in our backyard because it got away. Well, fast forward again, a couple of weeks later, I'm out of town at my mom's house. It's Sunday. My dad is sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden he hears the dogs start going berserk in our backyard. And our dogs still bark at people, but they weren't really like crazy barking. Like only if you really tried to like go near them, they started barking. And so my dad gets up to go investigate. And when my dad gets to the sliding glass door that leads to the backyard, he sees we had like a 4 or 5 foot chain link. I probably think it's like a 5 foot chain link fence. We'll see. And maybe 4.5. I don't know. Basic chain link fence. You know what I mean? Low enough, not like tall enough like the one I got stuck on and raped myself with. The one, just a basic one to keep a dog in the backyard. My dad looks through the sliding glass door and sees at the gate a guy fiddling with the gate with his one hand. He can't get the gate open because my dad, he just put he put something on the gate that only we knew how to open, basically. It was this like the stupid little like latch thing. Anyway, so the guy couldn't get it open, and the dogs are there barking and being all dogs. Well, then I guess this guy with this other hand, you notice I'm kind of holding my arm back. He's fiddling with this hand. And then I guess he just goes over the top of the fence with a 2x4 and just hammers on the dogs. And my dad, who is like the ultimate dog lover, like he fucking loves dogs, breaks our sliding glass door, like sliding it open. He broke not the whole glass thing, but he like broke it off the hinge, and it never worked right after that again. He runs out. Apparently, from what I'm told, my stepmom said he hurdled the fence. Now, my dad's 6'5", so for him to hurdle like a 4.5, 5 foot fence isn't that hard, but still, he's a massive guy. He was like almost 300 pounds at the time. So he hurdles this fence. I guess he grabbed the 2x4 from the dude and just flung the 2x4. And then he got in the guy's face and said, "What the hell is wrong with you? What are you doing hitting my dogs?" And the guy goes, "I want my cat." And now, mind you, my dad was not there for the cat. He had no connection to this cat at all. He didn't know the story, nothing. He wasn't there. He was out of town for it. So he's thinking he's dealing with a crazy person. And my dad is like, "I don't know what you're talking about a fucking cat. But if you don't fucking get out of here, I'm going to fucking kill you." Now, mind you, Those are the words he used, and he is screaming. From what I'm told, this is secondhand from what I've gotten. Now I've heard my dad scream, and I think I can scream. That motherfucker can scream. Like his voice just carries. I heard him over, and again, I played at a small school, but the crowds would get pretty loud, and because the other team would be kicking the shit out of us so bad, but I'd be able to hear my dad over all of it, screaming. You do a whistle that I heard, and then I could hear him scream over everyone because his voice was so much louder than everybody else's. So I believe it when he was screaming, that he was screaming very loudly at this gentleman. So uh, the guy starts pointing in my backyard saying, I want my cat, I want my cat. And my dad's like just going, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then the guy points and says, it's right there. Well, apparently what had happened, what had happened was, apparently the cat did fall out of the tree or jump out of the tree, and the cat, though, did not make it out of the backyard. There is a small spot along the back part of the fence where the floodlights did not hit, where I didn't see that the cat had gotten, it tried to go under the fence, and the dogs got it right as it went under the fence. So they didn't actually eat the cat. They broke the cat in half, basically. So this poor cat probably suffered a horrible, horrible death. But when I went out to go look for it, I didn't see it in the dark. And it was fall. And so the leaves had fallen. And I'd been in the backyard. I must have gone up and down. No smell, nothing. I've gone in and up I did poop patrol in that backyard many times over those 2 weeks. I had to go out and clean up the dog shit. It was my job. I did it constantly. I was always in trouble if I didn't do it, so I had to do it a lot. And they shit everywhere, fucking dogs. Anyway, so I didn't even see this fucking dead cat out there. So I didn't know there was a dead cat. So in the end, my dad backs down, doesn't kill the guy, which is shocking because he hit the dog with a 2x4. He lets the guy in the backyard to go get the cat. Apparently the guy had like a pillowcase in his pocket. He pulls out a pillowcase, wraps up this dead cat, and then leaves. And the reason I'm telling that story, going back to the eggs, is because after that happened, I must have egged that guy's house 100 times. I egged that guy's house. I toilet papered that guy's house. I shaving creamed that guy's house. I put bologna all over that guy's car. I mean, I did every single thing you could to vandalize somebody's house. I might have even thrown rocks through his windows. I know I did that when I was a kid to somebody's house. I can't remember if I did that in Aurora or there. But I know I threw eggs at least at that guy's windows. I mean, I covered that guy's house in egg. Fuck that guy. You want to know another reason to fuck that guy? Because in the chaos of my dad screaming, I'm going to kill you to that guy. Now, this guy lived behind us, in the house over. So there was a house right behind us, and then the one right next to that was his. Now, in the house right behind us was one of the prettiest girls I'd ever seen in my life. Her name was Dana. When I moved to Chagrin, she was like one of the first girls I met. You know how it goes when you move to a new town. If you've ever done that, usually the first girl you meet, oh my God, it's so pretty. It's a new girl, it's new. But this girl actually was an incredibly beautiful girl. So I was, smitten with this girl. I was actually, after that happened, after my dad went berserk and threatened to kill that guy and made the scene that he did, which nobody really knew the whole cat story. All they saw was the new neighbor coming into town threatening to kill another neighbor. And so I was never allowed to hang out with Dana ever. I've never, ever hung out with her ever after that, ever again, for the rest of my time living in Chagrin. Never went, nothing. And it was I remember being so mad at my dad for doing that for the longest time, but then also not mad because he was looking out for our dogs. So, but yeah, he ruined my chances with Dana, that fucking guy. So I didn't hold it against my dad. I held it against that guy. So his house fucking paid for it, that motherfucker. Yeah, so egging was my shit. I did a lot of vandalizing when I was kids. Probably why we ended up moving out. Um, Michael K says, as cat lover myself, I have 4 of them. It's hard to say, but if you let your cat outside, that's what can happen. Just like if you're a dog owner and you let your dog off leash, they get shot. Yeah, no, I agree. You can't let your. I don't understand people let their cats out. My dude I buy stuff from, he's got a cat that he just lets out in his front yard, and I guess it comes home. But I'd be worried that somebody would steal my cat. Like my cat got out once and it was gone overnight and I didn't sleep. I was freaking out. I was losing my mind not knowing where my cat was. So yeah, I got my cat back.